Hello, I'm Jared McNett, a political reporter for the Sioux City Journal and frequent panelist on the On Iowa Politics podcast. I'm here today to chat with Representative Randy Feenstra, the Republican incumbent in Iowa's 4th congressional district race. He's running against Democratic challenger Ryan Melton and Liberty Caucus candidate Bryan Holder. Hello, Randy.
Hey, Jared, great to be on with you today.
Yeah, I think maybe the easiest way to start is for anyone that somehow doesn't know you to just get a little bit of background. So, how old are you? What sort of work do you do, or did you do outside of Congress? And where do you live?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm 53 years old. I was born and raised in Hull, Iowa, right in the northwest corner. And I married my college sweetheart, Lynette, and we have been married 29 years. We have 4 wonderful children. I worked in the foreign candy company. I was head of sales of the foreign candy company, maker of Black Forest gummy bears and sour mega warheads. And then I transitioned into city administration of Hull, and then county treasurer. And then I was 12 years in the Iowa Senate, chair of Ways and Means. And through that time, I was also working for Iowa State Bank, and then was a professor of business and economics at Dordt University.
Okay, and what initially made you want to run for Congress back in 2020?
Well, the biggest thing is that just talking with my neighbors and the agricultural producers and the Main Street business people, we needed a seat at the table. We needed somebody that could deliver results for the 4th district. And that has created my passion, is to make sure that we have a strong voice and advocate for our agriculture producers, for our small business up and down Main Street, and for our families. We live in a rural area. The 4th district is very rural. So it's so important that we have a voice and a seat at the table.
Yeah, and since you've been in Congress then and have had a seat at that table, what are your proudest accomplishments thus far?
Well, the biggest thing is being a loud voice for agricultural producers. I sit on the agriculture committee, and we've passed a lot of bills when it comes to biofuels. I've also made sure that fighting against taxes that would dramatically increase the cost for our small businesses, for our families, and for our farmers. The big thing is I did get 4 bills passed off the House floor, and they centered around weather and also the biofuels. One of them was getting E15 year round, which is very important to me.
Gotcha. And if you were to be reelected in November, and your party was to regain control of Congress, what issues would you want to see as top priorities in 2023?
Yeah, there are some really significant issues for the people of the 4th district in Iowa. The number one I hear when I travel all 39 counties is the dramatic cost increases that we're seeing on food and fuel and utilities. Inflation is just crushing the small business, crushing our producers and their families. Our agriculture community is seeing dramatic costs when it comes to fertilizer and seed and pesticides, insecticides. Our small business is seeing dramatic costs when it comes to utilities and health insurance. And our families sitting around the table trying to create a budget and trying to figure out how they're going to pay for eggs and milk and cereal and all these other things. I mean, this is really a top issue. Number 2 is we have to secure our borders. We're seeing it right now. We had 2 of the largest fentanyl busts ever in the history of the United States last week. It's so key that we know who's coming in and out of our borders. And number 3 is we must have a strong voice for agriculture, that we are the breadbasket to the world, that we have to make sure people understand on the West Coast and East Coast what we offer, not only to this nation, but to the world when it comes to food security.
And with inflation, obviously, any action you would want to take would be one that is a long-standing one. What are actions that Congress could be taking to address those issues as quickly as possible?
Yeah. So key things. Number 1 is we got to stop this wasteful spending. We put $6 trillion on the credit card over the last 2 years. That has just added the logs of the inferno to this inflationary amount. So we got to stop spending. That's number 1. Number 2 is we got to be energy independent. We have to use our own energy, from biofuels to our fossil fuels. We have the cleanest form of energy in biofuels. And our fossil fuels are also very clean. And instead, we're buying from places like Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. We're reliant on OPEC. And this administration should be ashamed of we're reliant and looking at OPEC instead of looking at our own energy sources.
And then pivoting just slightly, what do you believe, sets you most apart from your two opponents in this race, Mr. Melton and Mr. Holder?
Well, the most important thing is that I understand agriculture. Grew up around agriculture. I lived in town, but my kids have worked on the farm. My in-laws are significant farmers. We understand what it means to load hogs, to vaccinate cattle, to take in the harvest. That's so important. It's so critical. And then also for myself, working on Main Street, understanding banking, understanding insurance, making sure that we are a voice to the people of all 39 counties. This is so important that you have that ability and understanding of the 4th District. And finally, my values. I mean, we have the values of trust and working hard. I mean, these are things that you learn growing up in Northwest Iowa. Those are values that I take to Congress every day.
And how would you say you sort of enact those values in Congress?
Every day, I tell you what, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, get breakfast and get to work and try to create positive policy. I sit on the Ag Committee and the Budget Committee and Science and Technology Committee. These committees really focus around what's happening in small business, what's happening in agriculture, working with my constituents every day. I have 39 counties doing our county tour twice a year, making sure that I can listen to the constituents of the 4th District, and so I can represent them and hear their thoughts and concerns. It all goes together. I mean, this is one job that you have to be working every single day and listening. They're all my bosses, and I represent them, and I take that really, really seriously when I'm in Congress.
And then the last question for you here, kind of putting a button on everything. Ultimately, why should voters go with you again in November?
Because I am passionate about giving them a voice in Congress, and I'm passionate about making sure that we delivering results for our families, delivering results for our Main Street businesses, and delivering results for our farm producers. Each one of these are the cornerstone and the foundation of the 4th District, and they're so important as we move forward in society.
Okay, Representative Randy-Feenstra, thank you for your time.
Thank you.